Hey guys, and welcome back to Comic Con Africa 2020. I am your host, Robbie Collins. Shout out to Zaid. That was great, bro. Thank you so much for that quiz. I think I learned quite a bit there. Guys, please remember to join Zaid again at 7 p.m. where I'll be doing the Dragon Ball Z quiz. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys are comfortable. I hope you're happy and you're enjoying your Heritage Day at home. Please, while you dressed up in your heritage clothes, also dress up in your favorite comic clothes, comic characters clothes, and dare to cosplay. Please, guys, use that hashtag, and you might win a prize. Okay, sweet. Now we are going to be going to San Francisco. We'll be joining a creator of comics and a graphic designer. Ladies and gentlemen, Nooligan.
Welcome to Comic Con Africa Online. We have artist, comic creator, graphic designer, all the way from Sacramento, California. Nooligan, how's it going, man?
Hey, man. Well, thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it, and I'm happy to be here.
And on my left, we've got the incredible Zaid.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, Pat? I have a serious question that I need to ask.
Yeah, shoot.
Okay. Is it Sacramento or Sacramento?
That's Sacramento.
Okay, Pat, you're
Well,
right. I
yeah,
owe you 20
well,
bucks.
it's pretty
I,
much
I
like
owe you 20 bucks. Okay. I owe you 20 bucks. Okay.
Yeah,
I don't want to do this anymore now because like I'm already on the back
you're
end of
already in the hole now. You got to try to win it back. You got to try to win it back.
Okay. Well,
So let's
that's
start with our first question. Nooligan, your style has been basically described as contemporary with a flair of nostalgia. How did you develop your style, and where did it come from? Because your work is pretty unique on its own. You know, from your statue line to the prints that you do, and everything Zaid's showing off some of his toys there. But how did it develop to this specific unique style?
I think it was a lot of trial and error kind of thing. So I think most time I at the very early on I tried to kind of draw the very traditional way of drawing a comic book, right? Like that very much that standard way of drawing. And then when I was really trying to do that, it was really difficult for me to kind of follow that line of like the Jim Lees and like the Arthur Adams and all those guys that came before me. They're I was trying to draw like that when I was younger was really difficult. So it just kind of felt like it was unnatural for me to draw that way. Like it just seemed like it was fighting my nature. So at one point, I remember just like trying, like thinking, I'm going to go back and just do what I like to do. And I started kind of like incorporating a lot of old school cartoons into my stuff, like means like the old black and white cartoons and a lot of like really old animation. And then I started like really kind of going back to what I loved about cartooning to begin with, right? And then because before I was in the comics, I was in the watching cartoons, so it was about like looking at all those old school inspirations and then kind of mix it into what I already knew about comic books. And then kind of like as that kind of came forward, I started like also incorporating some like music, like your punk rock, your hip hop, your rock and roll. And then I started kind of just mixing all that together, and then it kind of came out with what I have now. So I think that was the kind of where it all came from, was like just looking at my earlier inspirations and then just kind of unfolding them into where I am at in a modern kind of sense, kind of thing. And then I think that's where the style came from. I just kind of started building on it, and I think without without like going to these conventions early on and getting the confirmation from fans that I actually was going down the road that actually was that helped me kind of continue down that road. Like if I started doing that style or started working on that cartoon style and nobody cared, I probably would have never done it, right? So you're looking at the fans being a good like beacon of light to show me that you're doing something different, you're doing something worth trying, which gave me obviously more courage to keep going with it, which ended up where I am today. So I would like so like the silver lining in the whole thing is probably like the fans and the people are ones that kind of helped me create this what this is now, because without them I wouldn't have been able to do it.
Okay, that's
Look,
good.
I want to weigh a Pat, because as we speak at this exact moment, I'm on my phone and I'm looking at Nooligan's Instagram, And I mean, we obviously invite everyone to go and check out his stuff, including his website, nooligan.com/bones. But like, I mean, your style is, you're talking about that. How did you go through the process of setting these rules for yourself? Because I mean, I became familiar with your work, obviously with your work with the stuff from DC Direct and that line of figures, because my boy Pat bought me one for my birthday. But then, other than that, I mean, you've created the set of rules for the way the way you draw. So it's that distinctive Nooligan style. So I mean, how did that come about?
I think that just comes naturally. Like I think like eventually you start out kind of changing the way you're drawing, and and then you take inspiration from here and there and then like all these different places, and then as you kind of start continually putting those together, and then it becomes natural. Like you just start naturally doing it, and then it becomes part of who you are. And I think it's just muscle memory, and then also just trying new things, and then it kind of just eventually kind of turns into something else. And then when I have something else, I'm also just trying new things. So it constantly evolves. And I think that's what being an artist is, or being doing anything from music to acting to whatever you're doing, right? I think it's a matter of just doing that, like going out your comfort zone and continue down the road of trying different things. And I think you're always going to kind of evolve. And then, when it comes down to fans, you might lose some because they want you to always be the same, because they want you to be who you discovered, right? And then but for me, I'm always constantly changing and trying different things. I'm doing like some like angular stuff now with my artwork that I didn't do back in the day. I'm constantly, and then I'm kind of going back and forth, and then I'm also just incorporating some angular stuff with some more curved stuff. So I'm always just trying stuff. Granted, I don't even know where it's going, but it's kind of fun to do. It's kind of, and it also keeps me challenged in a way that I can always constantly keep evolving, and I think that's important for any artist. So. If that makes sense.
It does. It's just that like I'm waiting for like Pat's got that look like he's like wait, I'm gonna nail you now. Nail you now.
Yeah, so I don't understand what you're saying, so I'm gonna ask you something else. So yeah.
Like some high grade stuff over here.
I actually understand exactly what you're saying. We had this conversation in Chicago earlier this year.
Yeah.
Where we were talking about how art needs to evolve, and it's like people shouldn't try to be the Jim Lees of today, because characters have evolved completely. The audience also that a lot of these studios should be pitching to is a younger audience. And I mean, right. I actually think, if I'm not mistaken, you told me like your daughter said to you the one time, why is he looking like this bodybuilder? What Batman looking like? He just stepped out of the gym, and he doesn't look like a normal.
She was very forward thinking when you go to a thing, but also then I have I have nephews that are basically did the same thing. So it wasn't just my immediate family, right? And then I started kind of like asking around, like to see if like that was a thing. And then when you really got down to it, majority of the younger audience they do not resonate at all with that old style that me and you grew up with, right? So I think there's something there. So you're looking at the idea of like there should be because what from my personal view, and this is just my personal thing, right? You having that medium, and it's fine to keep it all on that grounded, that continuity of keeping everything look the same. But when you're doing that, you're also forgetting that you're not coming up with the audience that is changing. You're not changing with the generations. You're just keeping everything based on for me and you, or for us, right? Because this is the stuff we grew up with, so you're keeping it for us, but you're not also expanding it down to that level of like, we need to kind of keep it going for the new generations, or change for generations that obviously want something different. Because like I don't think children are naturally gonna like a very small amount of them are gonna gravitate towards what me and you like. They always want to be individual, and they want to pick something that's their own. And they're gonna, because like when I was a kid, my dad was really into Johnny Cash. My mom was really into the Supremes, right? So it was like this really weird thing. And then I started I found like Wu-Tang, right? So you like kind of find your different thing. You find then same thing with like same thing. Like everybody else wants, like my mom was really into Star Wars. My dad was really into Westerns. I love Lord of the Rings, right? So it's kind of like, no matter what you do, you're always going to try to find something that is not what your parents are doing because you want to be you. And I think that's kind of what we're not doing. We're not offering to the new generation is something else. And then you go like, oh, well, this is the kids version. Like, this is the kids thing. And then the younger kids like, I don't want this. It's for kids. I don't want anything that's for kids, right? They just want to be a part of what you're doing, but they want to be able to discover something new. And I think that's when you're looking at the industry as a whole, and they're being safe, which is completely fine. Right, but then I think that being safe also kind of just breeds like you're being stagnant and you're not really willing to evolve, and I think that's a problem with the industry. Like when it comes down to it, I think they're tired. I think you should give them a break. I'm not saying that I should take over. I'm just saying that there's a lot of other artists, younger artists, that are really good and really innovative, and those people should be giving these characters new life, new breath. And I think
completely agree,
especially for a new generation, I think that's really important. And so like I'm a big believer in the fact that these, like, no one person, no one artist should be representing the whole industry as them being the thing of this particular thing, right? No artist should be bigger than these characters. These characters are for everybody in the world from every generation. Like, I grew up with Batman, I grew up with Spider-Man, I grew up with all this stuff, and I love it. I didn't know who owned it. I don't care who owns it. I love these characters. So these characters are for the world. Therefore, no one person should be acting as if they're bigger than these characters.
All of it.
So like nobody's bigger than the character. Like, no artist should be bigger than the character. It should be like these characters are for everyone and for every generation. And then therefore they should all have a different voice for these characters to represent for every person from every age. And I think that's what it should be, versus just trying to put it in a box and say, no, this is what it is, and this is what it's going to be. And I'm like, I don't think it should be. That's just my personal view, though.
No, I want to come in over here. Like, first of all, like, whoa. There was, you get, I call them these like live shock moments, like where it's like somebody says something so outside of the box that they try to put in, and you're like, hey, this guy is right, because the thing you're saying that nobody should, like, own the thing or be bigger than the character. I'm like, yeah, that's right, because and so that was just like, whoa, I want us to adjust that a bit more. But I want to go back to something you said earlier, where the younger generation, I mean, like, it upsets me that we do not fall necessarily into the younger generation.
Yeah, I know, right?
That demographic anymore. But like earlier this year, there was, I think it was this year, late last year, Thundercats Raw. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I was like, no, this is I'm not okay with this. There is no way Lion-O needs to look more tubby than me, and I'm a tubby dude. You know what I mean? So it's okay for me to say that. It's a safe space, but I don't want nobody in the comments to be hashtag.
So no, but I what happened? Did you get cut off?
Oh, he cut out.
I know my sound is still here, but I will come.
Okay.
Come back
Okay. So to kind of like jump on to what he said, like, I saw the Thundercats roar and I kind of was with him. I kind of thought that, like, yeah, that's because, like, you immediately go back to when you were a kid and you, like, there's no way of doing the same thing to make you feel the same way, right? So you're looking at it and you're just like, there's no way that could take the place of what I remember it to be. But, like, when I was able to kind of step back from it, and I actually, from the innovation standpoint, I think it was a really cool thing to see that be pulled off and then do it in a different way. I think there's something really cool and innovative about it, even though it's not for me. It's not supposed to be for me. It's supposed to be for that new generation to learn about the Thundercats and also discover the Thundercats for the first time, even if it wasn't our version of the Thundercats, right? But you're making the Thundercats for a new generation, which is what we want, because then we can that generation can grow up knowing what Thundercats are, and then eventually change it again to something else. So you're looking like if they keep doing that, eventually we're going to get like a really cool version, like the Ninja Turtles, like the 3D one that Nickelodeon did was phenomenal, right?
2007, yeah.
But like, so you're looking at like if they can do that and keep like, oh yeah, well that didn't really work, but the next version, because everybody likes Thundercats again, they make a really cool version again. Then we're solid, and we get to watch a really cool version. I think that's what it's about. It's kind of just putting those characters in people's mind, you know.
Like, like I'm holding this up again because I could totally, and I apologize, something wonky happened between camera swapping over here. But I know it's like really, really bright. But like I mean, I could definitely get behind a Batman that looks more light, more lean, more angry. Like I mean, this is like this is an angry Batman there. You know what I mean? So in fact, I'm thinking that if I could get another one of these, I could probably customize it to look a lot like Robert Pattinson, because I'm seeing that jawline. I don't know, channeling it over there. But brother, what I like, what I especially like about what you're saying, just trying to find a place where he's like,
that's good.
Is the fact that these things evolve. These things evolve because, like, I mean, Pat was mentioning the other day. Well, it wasn't the other day, but a little while back, that he has this epic Hellboy album. We're calling it an album, and it's basically different people's interpretations of that singular character. Is it there somewhere? Yeah, there's there in the. Okay, I'm pointing, like you can see where I'm pointing, but it's there. But now, like I mean, like now for somebody like you now, like I mean, you're a creator, you're an artist, and obviously, from your fan base, does that put any pressure on you to say that, okay, look, I have my own version of how things should be. This is what I want, but at the same time, it needs to be something that resonates with the consumer, the fan on the other end. So what sort of pressures does that create for you as a creator, if any at all?
Well, I try not to, like I'm human and I'm going to be there's pressure is going to come from everywhere. So you're going to feel it, right? But the idea is that like when you ask the question, if I ask you if you like it, if I ask somebody else in the street if they like it, right? You're going to be like, oh yeah, I like it. The other person's like, I don't like it. So which one do you pick, right? So therefore I feel like you just do what you want to do, and then you're like, because if they ask me to do that, I would just do it, and I'm just like do it how I would naturally do it and put myself out there, and then you find people that are actually into it, right? So you're actually like you're just kind of doing what you do naturally, and then seeing who gravitates to it, and I think that's all you really can do. So that kind of relieves you of the pressure of actually feeling a lot of pressure, because you can't please everyone, and then not everyone's gonna like your stuff. And then there's going to be a group that likes it and a group that doesn't, and that you got to be totally fine with that. And because that's what makes everything so subjective and gives us so much different versions of everything, is being able to, I like this classic version. I like this Jim Lee. No, I like this Alec Ross. No, I like this like Nooligan, right? So it's like totally there's so much out there that you don't have to like I'm not really a fan of Jim Lee or Alex Ross. I kind of am more of an animation stuff, and I'm always kind of like looking at more interesting looking stuff where people are willing to kind of just try something. So I'm very much more interested in new stuff. So therefore, like that stuff doesn't really gravitate towards me as much as I did when I was younger. But yeah, so like I think that just having that in the back of your mind that you're not going to be able to make everybody happy. But you can find the people that are actually into it, and I think that's an important thing, and that kind of makes you feel more confident in what you're doing. I think anyway. So
I completely agree with you. I think the artists that really stand out for me are the ones that really just stay true to themselves and literally just do exactly what they do and the way they do it. Like, I mean, think about how Mike Mignola's style. Think about what Scotty Young is doing. I mean, look at what David Mack is doing. There's all these different creators, and you get Alex Maleev, all these different guys. I mean, Nooligan. I mean, there's these really unique styles, and as Zaid was mentioning, the whole thing that I've got with this Hellboy art project is I like the character, I love the character, but it's even cooler for me to see the different way that people interpret this character through their own eyes, through their own artwork. And that's really special to me. It's like, I don't want everybody to draw exactly the same. And quite frankly, if I pick up a comic book and Batman's being drawn by 20 different artists and it all looks the same, it's boring. It's really it's boring, you know.
You're like, who's Jim Lee? You're Jim Lee. You're Jim Lee. No, you're Jim Lee. No,
exactly.
You're Jim.
Exactly. And I think we all can draw those comparisons about there's a lot of artists out there that pretty much have the same style of doing things. And even though it's cool, they're being used quite a lot in the industry. I just feel that it's time for like a breath of fresh air. You know, they need to give, you know, unique artists a take on certain things, you know. And I completely agree. Just getting back to what we were talking about, the Thundercats thing, you know, when they did the animation for She-Ra on Netflix as well, it wasn't necessarily, I didn't necessarily like it that much. It was okay for me, but my two kids loved it. And, that's just the thing. Yeah, that's just the thing.
I loved it. I'll be honest, I loved it.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm really looking forward to Kevin Smith's take on He-Man, and you know. But
I think like the only thing I'm worried about is that he's going to try to please us too much, and that'll like negate the younger audience. And I think that might be an issue if he can't if he can't take our generation out of it. Because he's probably wanting us to go, right? That's like the thing. He's like marketing it to us, but you're like, no. But like, in order to make He-Man a new thing, you gotta make it for the kids. And I think that's and that's why we don't like certain things, right? It's like, well, that's not what we remember, and you're like, well, it's really not for us. It's for our kids to be into it, so they can be and they can take it as they're getting older. And I think that's what's important about these characters. Like I said earlier, there's no one thing should be above them. These characters should be for every generation. And I think that's what like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles got right. And obviously that's what like Batman and like Superman and Spider-Man and even Cap, man. Like Cap wasn't really popular when I was a kid. And I love the fact that Cap's super popular now, right? And then Cap is awesome now. Everybody loves Cap. And he was one of my favorites when I was a kid. So it's kind of like it's really cool that they reinvented him for a whole nother generation. Like he's this generation's Superman. Like, you know, Christopher Reeves was like my Superman, so I love Superman, right? So this generation's like Superman is Cap, and I think that's really cool.
You know, wait now. Once again, now, like, don't do this to me, because like you hit on a couple of different things, and I want to touch on that. I want to touch on this and this. So now, like, dude, wait, I have to ask you now. Inside your brain now, right? Now, this might be a bit too personal. You don't have to answer if you're not comfortable, right? Yeah. But like your ideas, the way they flow in conversation, you know, it's like, and you're hitting the target on every single point, because I'm like, yes, that makes sense to me. And I never thought about that before, but yes, that's absolutely the way I'm going to be thinking about life from now. So when it comes down to, you know, like when you're creating, you know, when you're creating, do you I know every artist says that, no, you know what, I still do a shitty drawing. You know, every now and again, I still have like a bad day at the office. But like, I mean, like for you now, like your creative process, how does that shape up? You know, like in your mind's eye, you already have an idea of like what a thing is going to be, or are you like, okay?
I think majority of like everything I do is I try to flow with it, right? So I have an initial idea in my head and I try to put it on paper, and then but when it doesn't actually, I don't try to force it. I don't try to force like my idea to come to fruition. So I just let it be, like I let it flow. Like if that one idea doesn't end up looking right, I just change it on the fly. I have no problem kind of just going with the flow. Like if it doesn't work out, I kind of go the other way. And then therefore it's totally different from my initial vision, but it ends up being better because I just went with it. I think your natural state is always to never fight the nature of what's happening. Because if you fight it, you're gonna hit a wall, and it's gonna be really hard, and then you're gonna be really frustrated. I think like as long as you kind of just are open to always just changing the directions, and then you can always find a way around anything. And so therefore, I'm not saying that it always works. I'm just saying that it's a better way of approaching it, so it's less stressful, and then it's easier to kind of not have as many bad drawing days, because they do happen. But like for you, even when I do have a terrible drawing day, like everybody else, I fight through it. I have like I'm putting down the blueprint of a drawing. It doesn't look right. I'll keep at it. Like it's like there's something wrong with it. I keep going, and then eventually, and then surprisingly enough, every time I do that, I ended up coming up with a really good drawing, because I fought through all those initial problems that I saw. I just fought through it. Like I just found ways around everything. And I think that's, as long as you approach it, anything that way, it doesn't have to be art, it could be anything, just life in general. Just don't fight everything, because it's just gonna make you more stressed out. Just go with it. Just go with the flow,
Pat, I got a big problem here. I came here for Nooligan and I ended up with Deepak Chopra, because now this man is out here like, don't fight it, go with the flow. I'm like, yay.
Well, just like this, just like quarantine, like we're all stuck, right? I all I do is read books and draw, and then I go and find other things I find stuff to do. Like this, this is we're all stuck in, like we can't travel, we can't do nothing, but it doesn't mean we don't have to not do nothing. Like we can actually like find stuff to do or work on. And I've been picking up writing. I've been like reading a lot of poetry. I've been doing a lot of other stuff that I wouldn't have time to do when I've been traveling this whole time, right? So this doesn't necessarily have to be a bad time. It's just like you're gonna sit there and say like, oh, I can't go out to the bar. Yeah, you're gonna make yourself miserable. But if you just like look around, there's tons of stuff to do. Like we can do something and spend this whole year doing something, learning something, instead of just sitting there going like and being miserable because we can't go anywhere. Granted, I'm biased because I'm pretty much a homebody, so it's easy for me. I'm not saying that's gonna be easy for everyone, but but I think I've been using quarantine for I've been being as productive as I can, just trying as many different things as I can. I think that's what's important, and then always having something to do, always having a checklist, always having something to work on, and I think that keeps me busy as well,
again. No, man, Pat, I'm sorry, man. I know that I'm just supposed to be over here in the background, right? And this thing over here, but I have an issue to pick with this man over here. I'm probably going to offend him, but I need to get this off my chest, right? Would that be okay, Pat?
Go for it. I don't think Nooligan is easily offended.
Yeah. No, not at all.
Let me tell you, you need to understand my emotional state at this point in time, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to preface it for you. You must understand that I'm here in South Africa, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful country, but I have a couple of challenges. I have a challenge with electricity. I have a challenge with the kind of hair care product I can get, because apparently, that's an in joke over here in South Africa, and hopefully you're not going to get censored for that. But the thing that I have a problem with the most is that getting a hold of your merchandise is ridiculously difficult. At this exact point in time, I was waiting for you now just to get it off your chest, but I'm on your website, Nooligan.com/bones. I'm scrolling through over here, and every single thing is sold out. Now, while that is awesome for you, right? That's awesome for you.
Yeah.
It's a little bit frustrating for me, right? As a fan, because I need some stuff to accompany my statue, which you also can't get anymore because it's sold out absolutely everywhere, brother. You need you need a South African agent here.
I know, right? Well, I'm trying to. Well, the thing is, it's. I'm very fortunate that way. I didn't really expect to be able to be able to kind of continue, especially during quarantine, to be able to do this stuff. I was a bit worried, just like every other artist on the planet was, because they say we're not really essential, right? We're not really a thing, especially during these type of things. I'm very fortunate that way. So it's been very. I've been very thankful for all my fans and everything, and all the people that supported me through this, because I wouldn't be able to do this without them. So I'm a big shout out to the fans, right? So I constantly try to release a few things every month. So it's just I don't think they're really hard to get. I think they're just that if you forget, then that's the thing, right? I have a certain time when I drop things off and stuff like that. And I think long as you're there and you're there during the time, I think it's pretty easy to pick something up. It's just that if you don't get there on the time that it's there, then it's not there anymore, you know? Because I only do small runs of stuff. I like, the small runs thing is because I want to challenge myself. I don't want to sit there and do like a really cool Batman drawing, right, that you like, and then I'm just like, oh, well, I'm just going to sell this forever. This is like my thing. This is like my Mona Lisa. I'm going to sell it forever so everyone has it, right? But then therefore that for me, I would just become dependent on that. Therefore I would never make anything new, because therefore I would just, well, I can do this. That one always sells. I don't have to do anything new. I don't have to try to do anything else. It's it. But then for me, if I do short runs, it constantly challenges me, constantly keeps me busy, constantly thinking, where I constantly are putting out new stuff and constantly trying to recreate or do something better and more innovative. So it's for me, but it's also for you guys. Like, in order for you guys to realize I only do small runs, and that's good for you guys, but it also keeps me challenged and also keeps me working, and it also constantly makes me have new stuff available, you know? So I'm doing like a whole week, or not a week, but like 4 days of stuff that I'm releasing every day in lieu of New York Comic Con this year. So I'm gonna have some stuff. So if you show up there, you should be able to pick something up. So I'll have all new stuff for those 4 days and stuff. So it'll be really exciting.
Yeah, and I also think that, you know, if you keep it limited and if you keep your run small, it also makes it highly collectible, extremely exclusive, and yeah, I mean, it makes it worth a lot more. I mean, like just before
hopefully,
we
right? Well,
this,
I think that's the point with art. I think you want to for me, I want to, like, you know, I always get like some people get upset because things are like really expensive, like on eBay or something, and I'm always just like, in my mind, I'm like, well, isn't that the point though? If you have
Correct.
it, and the point is that it is valuable, not just to you, but to, like, in case you did want to get something out of it. And I think it's really cool for me, and I hope it's like a decent investment for you, you know. So hopefully, and then I'm very, like I said, I'm very fortunate that any of that even happens, because I'm never expecting anything like that to happen.
Exactly, and I mean, this is obviously how I think the comic book stores, or, you know, especially from outside, these items we get them at the stores, and this is how the shop owners should start thinking. You know, and this is how they should market the stuff as well. You know, and try and get their hands on some of those GameStop exclusives. You know, and bring them to South Africa, because I mean, Zaid, I think you can agree with me. Even though, you know, people will maybe tend to spend less money, but they might spend more money on something that is a little bit more collectible, and you know, something that if
right?
they know that you're coming out next year, you know, they'll definitely purchase something that you can sign to even increase their value on
because like I was planning, if I got when I come out to see you guys, that I'll have some stuff that you can only get in South Africa, that would not be like somewhere you can't get it here in the States, right? So then you're getting people in the States trying to find you guys in South Africa, saying, I need to get that from you because I couldn't get it anywhere else. And because like that's what I like to do when I was going out of the country. I was going to make sure that only things that I made outside the country were only in that place, right? So that
that's cool.
Yeah, and then that's what I was planning on doing anyway. You know, so
see, this is what I like about this man, Pat. This is what I like. This man understands. This man understands the collector. You know what I mean? This is what this man understands it, because, like, I mean, we have our like for us here in Africa, the challenge is that, you know, when it comes to like I mean, all these years, every time Pat goes on one of these ships somewhere, I'm like, okay, you know, brah, hook me up over here, you know, get me gay, you know, like get me this and get me that. Like, he's been my what do you call it, my dealer, you know, in that regard, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel sometimes, and this is not an indictment on anyone out there or any of you know, our other guests, past, present, and future, but a lot of the guys don't understand the collector side of it, you know, because I mean, like, there's the fan side of it, but then you get some fans who are just fans, and you also get fans who are collectors, you know. So from a collector point of view, yes, it absolutely does help a little bit for me to know that this particular figure, which I managed to get, you guys will not be
Yeah.
able to get, is actually currently worth apparently
No,
$120
totally.
right now,
Yeah,
which I
yeah.
found out earlier thanks to my new best friend Nooligan, whose friend request is I'm totally like going to send, and he's totally going to accept my friend request afterwards.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Like, even though, just be warned, I never really use the Facebook. I'm more so the other stuff. But yeah, I can add you on. Yeah.
Can I ask another
Yeah.
personal question, Pat? Can I ask another personal question? Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, as a creator, as a fan, right? And this is for the benefit of the guys out there. You know, like I don't know why I was looking in that direction, but the camera's here. So for the guys out there,
Yeah.
knowing that this is an example of your work. You know, this is something that this is your brain, baby. You birthed this into the world, and now it is in hundreds and hundreds of collections around the world. What does that feel like? What is that feeling like?
Well, especially when it's coming from something like Batman, right, which is one of the most the biggest names in pop culture or anything like that. I was like, for me, it was kind of very surreal to kind of have to be a part of that line of history, because I never expected to be like I am a kid that grew up in a really like small town. You know, where we didn't we didn't have electricity when I was a kid. We didn't have like all these things. I had dirt roads. I grew up on a reservation, like, you know, like a Native American like reservation. So it was very much like I didn't know you can actually draw for a living. I didn't know anything. So and I grew up there. So like being a part of that line of history I'm very proud of it, and obviously and you know, it's still one of those things I don't really believe is real, right? Because it's one of those like, especially like putting Chuck Taylor's on Batman. Like nobody gets to do that. Like, and then they make it for you, right? Like I honestly put that on there. I didn't think it was gonna. I thought they were just gonna change it to black feet. I didn't think they were actually gonna do it, right? And when it came out, I was like, oh my god, they did it. You know, kind of. And I was like, I was surprised as anybody else, but and yeah, so I'm very thankful, and I'm also and it is crazy to see that on when I saw it on shelves, it was just crazy for me, you know. So, and then seeing it in people's collections is even crazier. I've seen it like in backgrounds and all this stuff. It's nuts for me. But yeah, very thankful, very thankful.
Is there anything that you're currently working on right now? Are you working on any new projects that's going to be released within the next couple of months? Or are you just preparing now for New York? Because obviously New York is the next biggest show, apart from Comic-Con Africa that's happening this month. Obviously, the October show has been New York.
Cool. Yeah, no, thanks for asking. Yeah, I'm working on, obviously working on my new figures that are coming out through Sideshow. Well, it was like Sideshow Unruly, right? So I was picked up by Unruly Industries to do a few figures that way. And then what the cool thing about that is those figures are actually my own creation. Like there's no pop culture reference. They're completely my own made up characters. So therefore, from that being done, I'm also working on like I do a web comic on them, and then I also do like a bunch of other stuff. So I'm spending a lot of time just working on my own independent property, based on the characters that Sideshow / Unruly are producing for me. So those will be out at the end of the year, if not early next year. It's a mermaid, and then also like a newsboy from like the 1930s kind of thing. So they're very kind of cool, stylized, very much my work. But I'm very proud of them because it's one of those things. Like just like getting Chuck Taylor's on all the Bat family, I'm also like. It's also another thing is like Sideshow / Unruly doesn't really just give people the right to do whatever they want, right? So I'm also I'm really shocked that way, and also very fortunate to be able to offer something that's really truly original from my point of view, and then them the best toy makers in the whole planet making the toys for me is pretty crazy, and something that I couldn't have never thought of ever happening either. So I'm really excited to kind of be doing that and putting that out there, and then also eventually putting out a story and then seeing how it goes with the people. So I've been working on that a lot aside from just kind of doing a lot of fanfare and a lot of stuff for in lieu of conventions and stuff like that, you know. So I'm always busy, I guess, you know.
That's fantastic. And tell us a little bit more about your website, because I know you take commissions often. So if fans want to engage with you and want to purchase some of your exclusive items, you better just go straight to your website and do that, or request commissions.
So I don't take any like handed requests now. Like now during quarantine, I've been able to space it out because I can't take everybody's requests. So I do a small amount a month. So I do it every 15th of the month, or every mid-month. I do like a thing called like Mr. Out of Luck, which is basically like it's an online event that I created for Friday the 13th. Like, so every Friday the 13th, I was doing this thing where I was selling all my number 13 prints from all my small runs, because I kept them all. I didn't know, I just felt like people didn't want them, right? So I kept them all. And then I had this whole bunch of them, and then I was like, well, maybe I can do like a Friday the 13th thing, and then sell them for $13, right? And then so I did that, and then that actually, I was like, it's really weird because of my saving grace, right? Like I didn't know what was going to happen after quarantine, after all the shows were canceled. And then that thing, I was able to use that as a monthly event to kind of just release a new piece of artwork, also take commissions. So I do that once a month during quarantine. So I take a small amount and I also release something new that's only exclusive for that event only. So I do that every mid-month. I also have a official print release. These ones are like more so that I'll take to shows and stuff like that towards the end of the month. So I release 2 things a month. And then on months that like during Comic-Con and then or during New York Comic-Con, we're looking at doing a different type of event that month, where we're doing like a week-long event or a 5-day event, which is totally different. So those normal Mr. Out of Luck or the print release won't be there that month, you know, because I'm doing that month, and then so on and so forth. And I do like a holiday event every November online and stuff. So it's kind of like I'm always constantly like working on new things and having different stuff. But I do offer a few things a month. So for everybody out there, you know, and I have those all listed on my site under like events. It'll just show you when everything's being released and stuff. So.
Okay, great. Well, talk about Mr. Out of Luck. We're almost out of time. Zay, do you have any last questions for Nooligan?
No, I'm just going to repeat what I said before, before we went online, and that is very simply, my man, we fully expect you to come and check us out over here. For other reason than for 2 things. Thing number 1, so you can do the mods that we spoke about over here, so the autograph there and the tattoo. And thing number 2, we have this thing down here in South Africa. It's called a bunny chow. Have you ever heard of it? A South African bunny chow. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
Okay. Well, let me just ask you, right? When I say bunny chow, what do you think I mean? Like, what pops into your? I'm gonna tell you what it is.
Because when you say bunny chow, I'm thinking I don't know. I was just like, my natural thing is to think of exactly what it sounds like. I was like, it's like a bunny and then chow. I don't like. I was like, I don't know. So I don't know what it is. So it is the most a bunny chow, my friend, is a lot like finding young love. That's why it's okay. Yeah.
Essentially, it is a quarter loaf of bread, right?
Oh yeah, I love bread.
Which is right. Okay, so we're going in the right direction here. That is hollowed out, right? It's hollowed out, and delectable, sweet curry.
Oh yeah.
And then it's closed. It's got some salad on top. It's got some salad, a little bit of gravy all around for garnish. Cool. And then of course it's closed out. And then the beauty that's inside, the magic that pops out like a bunny. That, my friend, is a
so there's a lot of bunny. There's a bunny reference in there. Okay.
And that's the only thing. I mean, poorly named, but I'm not gonna lie. The reaction that we get from our foreign guests when we're like, "Would you join us for a bunny chow?" And they're like, "You savages down in Africa, no."
So I grew up on the reservation where we had rabbit stew, which is the same thing, but it was actually rabbit kind of thing. So I didn't. My dad ate that. I didn't eat it. Like, yeah, so I am very much familiar with the whole savages thing. So,
Okay.
because no, it's not offensive. I totally understand it.
Yeah.
But
You'll be training for all the wrong reasons.
I'm totally, yeah, totally. I'm totally with it. So that's exciting.
100%. Okay, so Pat. You know what I think we need to do, right? I think we need to make the restaurant bookings now, right? Because this man is absolutely coming to Africa next year. Man, honestly, it's been such a privilege, having a chat with you. And Pat, thanks for letting me tag along here with you because it's always fun for me. Like I mean, this is a gift from one of my very close friends, Pat over there. It's something that I look at like I'm not crying, I'm not getting emo. It's just that like there's like really, really bright lights where I'm like, why? I'm dark, but I'm not this dark. I shouldn't have put on this many lights at once, But like, I mean, this is something I got from Pat, and it's special to me. And then now I'm talking to the guy who designed it, So it's just like a lot to process right now. So
No,
I'm in fact just going to deal with the lighting over here, while Pat does all the important things.
Yeah.
So, just for the fans, we have Nooligan on the live event as well, and he's going to draw some cool things, and it will then go up. We'll have a link with that live drawing that you can visit his site, and you'll stand a chance to win that exclusive art piece that he's going to do over the weekend of Comic-Con Africa Live.
It'll be completely free, no shipping or anything. It'll just be me a gift to South Africa. So I'm excited.
We really appreciate it. And thank you so much for your time, Nooligan. And we'll see you very soon.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.